Hello everybody, it's time for another episode of the Traveling Boxcar. So, this was sent to me by the Indian Head Valley, shipped all the way down to Alexandria, Louisiana. And so what's going to happen now is we are going to, it's on the manifest to take the car to the paper mill and drop it off there. Along with these other cars. So once we get the car over to the paper mill, of course we'll switch the paper mill, get it on the track it belongs to, get a load of paper, and then we will ship it off to the Rock Island interchange, where it'll eventually wind up on the Cotton Belt route. So here we go. Let's get it pulled out of the yard. Here's our train coming into view. Now this is just an extra, so it's going to just come to the paper mill and then do a turn. Take back the empties. Alright, so here we come with the setouts, including our traveling boxcar, which is right behind the locomotive. There we go. There's our feature boxcar. We will uncouple from the locomotives and then we will do a runaround and get our pickups and head back to the yard. There we go. Okay, so it's dropped off at the yard now. Like I said, we're going to do the run around, get our pickups, and head back to the yard. But in the meantime, we will get the switcher in the paper mill. The job of getting everything set out into the proper place. So we'll pick it back up there in just a little while. Here's our manifest for the paper mill. So you'll notice that down towards the bottom, we see our traveling boxcar is headed to track 22. So we will get this manifest done, and then as soon as we get down to the boxcar, we'll show that being transferred to the proper track. Alright, here comes our paper mill switcher with our traveling boxcar, getting set back to track 22 so it can get loaded with paper. Alright, we're going to stop it there and uncouple it and move on and drop off the other 3 cars that we have to drop off up at this end. The other 2 box cars will go on track 20, which is right here. And then the flat car is going to go on track 19, which is right here. All right, here it is, dropping off the other two box cars. That's good right there. Now we'll uncouple and move the flat car to track 19. Okay, we'll stop there and throw the switch. Now we'll pull up. Okay, that's all for this yard job, and we will pick it back up after the boxcar gets loaded and send it back on its way. Now we've got our traveling boxcar loaded with paper. So here is the next manifest for the International Paper Yard. I've had another train come through and drop off some more cars, and then I did the pickups and got them back to the yard. So now the yard switcher is once again going to do this job, and as you can see, our traveling boxcar is right there. Kind of focus. If I can get it to focus just a little bit better. There we go. And it's going to come back to 15, which is the pickup track. So once it's back out to 15, we're going to have another train come along and pick it up and take it to the interchange. So let's get this job done here at the paper mill and get these pickups and set outs accomplished here. Alright, we're going to pick up this chemical tank car, and then as soon as we do, then we'll head over to track 22 behind it and pick up our traveling boxcar. Now that we've got it, we're going to bring it over to the track for pickups so that the next local that comes by will be able to grab it and take it over to the CR&IP interchange for routing to the cotton belt. Here we are at our pickup track, track 15. Back in the last cars on there. Like I said, the next local will come by, grab these cars and take them wherever they need to be. Our traveling boxcar, of course, will be going to the Rock Island interchange. And there it is. Stay tuned. Here we go. We got the extra leaving the yard. So what's going to happen with this extra is it's going to pick up and set out at the paper mill, and then take whatever car is necessary over to the Rock Island interchange and set out and pick up there. And one of the cars, of course, that's going to set out is our traveling boxcar. So let's watch as it leaves the yard here. And then we'll pick it up at the paper mill. All right, we've got our train entering the siding at the paper mill. So what we're going to do first is drop off the cars here at the paper mill on the set out track, and then we'll get the cars off of the pickup tracks to take on our way. To block our cars properly, what we're going to have to do is we're going to back into our traveling boxcar there on track 15. Right there. We're going to pull it out and put it at the front of the rest of the cars. And the reason why is those other cars are going to the interchange track as well. So then when we pull forward with the rest of the train, we will we'll connect onto the rest of the cars, and then we'll push back onto our caboose, and we'll be ready to go. So here we go. All right, let's see why we're having problems coupling. All right, we're all coupled up. Now we'll pull the rest of the train forward and then back again into the set out track or the pickup track and get the rest of our train. All right, here we come forward. And if you see our caboose way down there, we are going to go on that track and then push all the way back onto our caboose, and then we're ready to take off. Got everything picked up. Here we go. Our traveling boxcar at the front of the train. And now we are headed to the Rock Island Interchange over in Winfield. And there's our caboose. We'll join the train over in Winfield. Alright, so what we're going to need to do here is come and grab these cars off the interchange, starting with this L&AC boxcar, pull them up. Then I'm going to have to pull the rest of the cars on the siding, do a run around with my engines, come back on the siding and push the cars that belong there onto the interchange. So it's going to be a fun shuffle in this location. So backing this many cars, it's going to be nice and slow. Alright, so here's where we uncouple. Keep going now. Still backing up a long train, so you need to do it nice and slow. Here's our traveling boxcar. About ready to finish up the job here and put her to the interchange track. Alright, let's pick it up when the locomotives get to the other end. Now as we push our cars onto the interchange, we finally say goodbye to the traveling boxcar. And you'll see it again up on Colonel Cottonbelt, the train freaks layout up in Arkansas, because that's where it's headed, on the Rock Island. Hope you enjoyed this little switching session with the traveling boxcar, and we will see you next time. Flying Crow out.